Today, in our series on novels that make you feel grateful to be alive, The Far Pavilions by MM Kaye. I was reminded of this because I recently saw it in a little free book box, and I hadn't thought about it in a lot of years. Because when I was young, 12, 14, I found Kim by Rudyard Kipling, and it's about a young boy who is English but grows up in India and knows all the languages, gets into the life there, and eventually gets caught up in the great game of spying between Russia and Britain. And I just fell in love with the picture that Kipling painted of the subcontinent, and I knew I wanted to go. So after college, I saved up money by working in a lab, and eventually I saved up enough to go to India for a year or so. And of course, I started reading lots of books before I went, and I heard about the Far Pavilions. And it turned out that in some ways, this is the expanded romantic version of Kim. This is a love story, an adventure story. It's a giant epic of a book that is just so engrossing and enriching. It is so much fun to read. This is about an English boy who is raised as an Indian. His parents die, and his nurse takes care of him. He doesn't even realize that he is not officially from there. And eventually he does, and he becomes a soldier. And I won't say too much more about the plot besides the fact that he does get involved in the great game, and it's a fascinating thing to watch, this history of spying. The history of colonialism in India is an important thing for anybody to know about, because it is not a microcosm, it's gigantic. It is a cosm of what happens all over the world with colonialism, and the spying also plays into that as well. So this, if you want an amazing book to read during the summer, this book is just so much fun, especially if you're into learning about India, as well as Afghanistan. Some of the story takes place there as well. And it's a really important time period in history, from the Great Indian Mutiny Uprising of 1857 up until around the beginning of the Second Afghan War. So, great book to read. The last thing I'll say is I didn't realize, but this is on the BBC's list of 100 greatest novels of all time, which I didn't know was a list. But you can look it up. And I started going through that list, and I didn't officially do a count because I was kind of getting ashamed and nervous, but if I've read a third of the books on the BBC's best novels of all time, I would be surprised. So it gives me something to shoot for. So if you feel like it, check out the BBC list of the 100 greatest novels of all time. Let me know which ones you've read there, which ones it reminded of you that you forgot as well. So might be something we start diving into. So for now, just enjoy The Far Pavilions by MM Kaye, and have a good adventure.